What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the channel, Wealth Hacker Labs. I'm your grateful host, Jeff Rose, and let's just go ahead and dive into it because I'm sure you've already seen it all over the news. It's been all over social media. Crypto exchange extraordinaire BlockFi hit with a $100 million SEC fine. This is the largest fine for any crypto exchange. I mean, it is unprecedented. I mean, this is crazy. $100 million. Now, many of you are BlockFi customers like myself. I've been at BlockFi for a number of years, so obviously I have questions, I have concerns. And I know many of you also are wondering, how is this going to impact other crypto exchanges and also just the crypto space in general? And that's what I wanted to dive into this video. So what we're going to be answering today are some of these questions of what exactly did BlockFi do? What in the world did they do to get in such trouble? What did the SEC say that they did? How did BlockFi respond? Also, how does it affect current BlockFi customers? I know this is something I am wanting to know and curious about. What are some other, how is it also going to impact other crypto exchanges? And then what are my plans going forward? Once again, I'm a BlockFi customer. I have a lot of money. I'm going to show you my BlockFi account here just so you can see how much I have. And then also just share some of my thoughts on, what my plans are going forward. All right, so first, let's just, finding out exactly, what did BlockFi do? How this all went down was I got an email from BlockFi. I believe this was on February 14th. Happy Valentine's Day. And it was just a letter from the founder just talking about everything that had happened. Now, for me, it's like, this is great. I mean, I appreciate the fact that they are doing this, but I don't want to just hear from BlockFi first. I mean, yes, I do want to hear, from them, but first, I want to know, what did the SEC say? Like, what did Big Brother say that got them in trouble? Once again, this is coming straight from the SEC, and I'll have a link in the description, the show notes, if you want to check this out. But I'm going to actually read this to y'all verbatim so that you can get a good sense of what the SEC said. So the Securities and Exchange Commission, they charged BlockFi Lending LLC with failing to register the offers and sales of its retail crypto lending product. In this first of its kind action, the SEC has also charged BlockFi with violating the registration provisions of the Investment Company Act of 1940. Now, for those of you you may have no idea what in the world the Investment Company Act of 1940 is. I know for me, until I took my Series 7 Lite test way back when, to become a financial advisor, become a broker, that's when I learned about the Investment Company Act of 1940. But basically all this is saying is that any type of security has to go through this process through the SEC to get approved. So when you think of mutual funds, when you think of ETFs, when you think of also like individual stocks, like all of this has to be regulated. So there is a formal process that has to go through for it to get approved and to make it available to investors. So that's basically what the Investment Company Act of 1940 is. So just to kind of give you a little download, some context here. SEC charges BlockFi agreed to pay $50 million, a $50 million penalty. Also, and this is a big deal, cease its unregistered offers and sales of the lending product BlockFi interest accounts, which we'll talk a lot more here as this video goes along. And then also an attempt to bring its business with the provisions of the Investment Company Act within 60 days. BlockFi's parent company also announced that it intends to register under the Securities Act of 1933, the offer and sale of a new lending product. In parallel actions announced today, BlockFi agreed to pay $50 million in fines to 32 states to settle similar charges. So the $100 million, we got $50 million to the SEC, and then the rest of the $50 million to some different states. And just to wrap this part up, read a quote here from the SEC chair, Gary Gensler, and it says, "This is the first of its kind with respect to crypto lending platforms. Today's settlement makes clear the crypto markets must comply with time-tested securities laws such as the Securities Act of 1933 and the Investment Company Act of 1940, yada, yada, yada. I think you get the point." Whew, that was a mouthful, but and many of you already know this. I mean, BlockFi and Celsius and Gemini and Nexo, a lot of these crypto exchanges that have been marketing these insane interest rates on their stable coins. Like there has been some grumblings of this potentially happening. And as case in point, I think it was last fall, this is actually back in August, the state of Kentucky, they filed a cease and desist order to BlockFi. So basically, anybody that lived in the state of Kentucky, you could not open up a new BlockFi interest account and earn the 8.5%, 8.9%, whatever they're paying on their stable coins. At that time, Kentucky was the fifth state to take action against BlockFi over their interest accounts. You had New Jersey, Vermont, Alabama, and also Texas, and they all had issued cease and desist, right? And then later on, so once again, like BlockFi is not the only crypto exchange that offers this, but Coinbase at this time doesn't really have a interest account that all these others have. They were in the process of releasing their own interest product, and then the SEC basically they had a spat like that little spat with Coinbase, and the end result is that Coinbase did not release their interest product. It didn't happen. So the fact that this has all went down, doing this whole settlement with BlockFi, I mean, this is not shocking. It was, I won't say expected to happen, but like we knew eventually like they were going to release something. I mean, BlockFi's been talking about this. We've been waiting. And now really the question is like, well, how did BlockFi respond? And, you know, you can go to BlockFi's blog, you know, and they share basically what they're planning on. And here's like one little paragraph I will highlight here. Let me make this a little bit bigger so you can read it. It says, with today's resolution, we are leading the creation of a new regulatory landscape for crypto and our clients. As we shared earlier, we intend to confidentially submit a registration statement to the SEC for BlockFi Yield, a new crypto interest bearing security. Now, this is unprecedented because as of right now, like all of these interest products, there is no regulation by the SEC. You know, this is all decentralized finance, and that's one of the attractive reasons why they can offer like these insane interest rates. So the fact that BlockFi is going to release a registered securities product, you know, now called BlockFi Yield, like this is, we almost expect this was going to happen. So it looks like BlockFi is going to have to lead the charge. And I only have to assume that other crypto exchanges are going to follow. I mean, just based on everything that we're seeing, like it seems like that is the next logical step for all these others to follow suit. Now, for me, I do have a bit of an issue with this coming from BlockFi. And the issue I have, this is the key word here, intend. We intend to file, like intend to file, and hold that thought. So then if you go, so the CEO is Zach Prince, and this was a Twitter thread that he put up when this happened. You know, I'll read this, not all of them, I'll just read a few of them so you can kind of see what the CEO is saying. So he's like, huge day for BlockFi and our interest-bearing product, the BIA. We've reached the resolution with both the SEC and state regulators that identifies a clear path for folks to earn interest on their crypto. And then his point of view. And then go on. There was something here that was really interesting. I wanted to point out. Let me see if I can find it. So it looks like on his thread here on number 7 says, where are we headed? We will be starting the registration process with the SEC for BlockFi Yield, a new crypto interest bearing account. So we are starting the process. The letter here says we intend to file. Now, once again, like I have been receiving these emails from BlockFi, and every BlockFi customer has been receiving these emails for several months because once again, like this all happened back in September when all these states started to file like this cease and desist on their BlockFi interest accounts, the BIA product. So this is not new. So the fact that they are it sounds like they're just beginning the process of filing with the SEC. Like to me, it seems like they should have been ready to go. Like knowing that something is going to happen. I don't think they knew they were going to get fined like $100 million, but like they knew that something was going to happen. So to me, like, you've got all your attorneys, you got all your people ready, to hit the ground running so that current BlockFi customers are not here. Like, now the good thing is, and I'll share more, but like basically to have something ready, so like, okay, we got this, boom, we're able to shut that one down, start this one, and we're ready to go. And what I'm seeing right now, like, that just doesn't seem like the case. Now, I don't know how long this is going to take, but once again, I would like to have seen something ready like right now. So what about existing BlockFi customers? How are you affected? How am I impacted? And you can go here on the Twitter thread, and on number 6, he does answer this question. Zach does. It says, what does it mean for clients? It says, if you have a BlockFi interest account today, you will continue to earn interest as you always have. There will be a pause where U.S. folks cannot add new funds into their BIA and can't open a new BIA outside the U.S. Clients can continue to deposit into and open new BIAs. So once again, if you're in the US, basically what this is saying is that you cannot add any new money. So me being a current BlockFi customer, all my stuff is still there. All my stable coins, all my Bitcoin and my Ethereum, and I think I have some other coins in there. Like, they're still earning interest, but I can't add any new money to it. And for those of you that did not open up a BlockFi account, you cannot open up a BlockFi account, at least a BlockFi interest account, and earn that 8.5 or 9% on your stablecoin. Now, one thing that I've learned, so I'm going to log in here into my BlockFi account so you can see it. Oh, actually, before I do that, I did want to share this with you. So if you actually go to BlockFi's website right now, this is what you see. And for those who are listening on the podcast, before, when you went to BlockFi's website, you would see them boasting about, oh, you can make this on your stablecoin, the 8.5, 9%, and really talking about those rates. Right now, it's like, hey, we have a crypto, the BlockFi Rewards credit card. And that is pretty much the main focus of their website right now. If you do scroll down, they talk a little bit about their loan product, which you can borrow. They've got, a decent loan program there. But that's what you see when you go to BlockFi's website. Now, whenever I logged in after getting all this correspondence from them, what I ended up seeing, there was like a nice little pop-up that came up that said, hey, FYI, this is what's happened. And what you'll see is two different, I'll call it accounts inside your BlockFi account. It's two different wallets. So you have the wallet where this is where if you're wanting to make any trades and, buy Bitcoin, crypto, whatever, like that's what this is for. And then you have the interest account, which is, it's the old version of the BlockFi interest account. So you can see here, all of my balance is there. So actually, let me click on that so that you can see exactly what this is. So right now my balance is 164,000, and that consists of, I have Ethereum. I've got 34 coins of Ethereum. I've got 1.2 Bitcoin and a little bit of Gemini. And I don't even know where that came from, but all of this will continue to earn interest. And there's this nice little box here at the top of the account that says updates to your BlockFi interest account. Assets in your interest account will earn interest. To trade and borrow with these assets, transfer them to your BlockFi wallet. If assets are transferred out of your interest account, they cannot be transferred back. You can click on to learn more, and they kind of walk through the whole process. So when you log into your BlockFi account, so I've got the interest account and I have the wallet. So if I ever want to take out a loan, I would then need to transfer the assets, the coins outside of my interest account into my wallet. And that's where I could take the loan. But once I do that, any interest that I am earning on these coins, I can't get that back. So you kind of have to ask yourself, like, ooh, do I want to give this up? Do I want to lose out? So, as of right now, like, actually, this is funny. I really thought I still had some stable coin with them, but recognizing I end up transferring most of my USDC stable coin out into another crypto exchange, which I'll share here in a minute. I do have some Gemini. I have the $330 of Gemini. But right now, so my main interest accounts or my coins are my BlockFi, are my Bitcoin and Ethereum. And just in case you were curious, I did pull up like the most recent rates just to get an idea. So this is how much BlockFi is paying on their Bitcoin. So 4.5% up to 0.1, 1% greater than that on tier 2. Ethereum is 5% for 1.5, and then 1.5% between 1.5 to 5 coins of ETH on that. So just to give you an idea, like this is their current interest rates on what they are paying. At the end of the day, this just brings on more questions and answers that we're probably going to get right now. But the questions that I have in regards to BlockFi is, were they doing something different than these other crypto exchanges like Celsius and Nexo and Gemini, or were they doing something that is completely illegal? And do they have any shady practices? Were they lying? Were they misrepresenting? And I did find a few things on that I think are very important to share. First and foremost, so this is on pitchbook.com, and this PitchBook fintech analyst Robert Lee says, BlockFi has not been very transparent. I think that is part of the reason why SEC went after them. These are new products, so no one really knows what the real risks of these products look like. So that is just an analyst's opinion of BlockFi based on some of the findings. But if we go back to the SEC bulletin that was released, this to me is the big one. So this says, and I quote, "The order also finds that BlockFi made a false and misleading statement for more than 2 years on its website concerning the level of risk in its loan portfolio and lending activity." And that is a big deal. That's what the SEC is looking at here. So I get the whole like wanting to regulate the lending products, the stable coin, all these insane rates, but to make false and misleading statements regarding the level of risk in the loan portfolio and lending activity, like now that makes a lot of sense, because investors want to know, like, how risky is this? Like, if you're paying me 9% on stablecoin, like what is the chance of that stablecoin still being worth $1, going down in value, or just not existing at all? And if that happens, how is BlockFi going to take care of the problem if it is a problem? So these are all real big concerns, as you can imagine. So to me, like, that is what is going on here. Now, is the same thing going to happen with Celsius and all these others? We're going to have to find out. But so long as that they are not, they don't have any false or misleading statements on their loan portfolios and lending activity, then that should give them a better relationship with the SEC than what BlockFi is currently dealing with. Now, for all the crypto haters out there, I'm sure you're all like, yep, I told you so. Like, this was going to happen. Like, this is just the beginning of the end. Bitcoin is going to zero. It's not a real thing. It's a fad. Now, there obviously is a lot of fear and concern here, and this could have some sort of trickle down effect to other crypto exchanges and also just the crypto space in general. But the thing that you have to remember here is that this is all based off supply and demand. Right now, there is a high demand for cryptocurrency. I'm not saying there's a high demand for stable coins and all these interest accounts, yada, yada, but there is a high demand for blockchain. So to me, especially with all the big investors, all the institutional money that has just been pouring into it, like, there is no question that the technology that's being created here only has to push the banking industry and the credit card industry and the whole the fiat, just the whole architecture and the organization of it all. Like, it has to push it forward. Like, I was actually talking to somebody at a basketball game, one of my kids' basketball games the other night, and just talking about how looking at blockchain, and to how you can borrow money, how you can move money, and how easy it is, as opposed to going through a traditional bank, going through, a major financial institution. Like, you can't discredit that technology that is here, that it exists, and it's just making all the banks, all the credit card processors, like all of these making Wall Street just advance their technology and move towards the future. So what about my plans going forward? What do I intend to do with my BlockFi account? Obviously, I am not planning on adding any new money to my BlockFi account, especially if I'm not going to be able to earn any new interest. I'm going to leave everything there for the most part. I may transfer some of that stuff out, to be determined. But as of right now, I definitely don't see myself adding any new money. Now, one of the things I'm really looking at and highly considering is that, I've had some videos here, some podcasts talking about Celsius Network, which, they also have a earn product. They also have their stable coins. And I've been earning weekly rewards with Celsius, and I've really enjoyed that. Now, thinking that eventually that Celsius is probably going to have to implement some sort of regulation similar to BlockFi. So these stable coin rates may not be as high or even available. And who knows how long that may take. Because once again, like this whole thing with BlockFi, this all started last fall and it just happened today, or not today, but a couple days ago. So here we're talking about the middle of February, like that's how long it took. So the thought is, okay, maybe I need to get some more money into Celsius, or maybe even diversify, with a Gemini or a Nexo to also start getting these rates while I can, get it while it's still hot, right? So to speak. So that is definitely something that I am considering, and actually just started making some sales in some of my other accounts, some of my other investment accounts, just so that it's ready to be able to transfer either to Celsius or somewhere else, to be determined. But that's what I'm looking at right now. Is like, I don't know how long this is going to last. I don't have any fear that it's going to just disappear, meaning that if I do move money into Celsius or Nexo or Gemini, that, if the SEC comes down, like all of a sudden now I can't get my money, because that's not what they want. Like they still want to be involved, with U.S. investors some way, somehow. So they're gonna have to work with the SEC, in some capacity. So in that case, I'm not worried about like losing all my money. I'm just more concerned, like, man, I've been enjoying, making these insane rates, but I don't know how long that's going to last. So if you are currently taking advantage or have been taking advantage of either earning interest through BlockFi, or if you're earning interest in one of these other crypto exchanges, I'm actually curious to know, what is your thoughts on what's going on? What is your investment strategy with all these insane rates on different cryptocurrencies? Are you going to change what you're doing now? Or are you just going to kind of sit tight and see what happens, see what the SEC ends up doing with all these different crypto exchanges? Let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear your thoughts and your plans, and just see how we can do this together. All right, y'all, hope you enjoyed this podcast. Until next time, this is Jeff Rose reminding you that it's your money, it's your life, and only you can make it awesome. Until next time, peace.